So if you've played on the ladder at all since the release of Heroes of Skyrim, you probably have some kind of love-hate, maybe hate-hate, probably hate-hate relationship with Ramp Scout. It was a thorn on a lot of people's side, and when people see Scout, they just have some very unfun memories. So this deck is not Ramp Scout. This deck is a mid-range tempo Scout, and it's hopefully providing a way for people who like Scout to still play Scout even after the nerfs. You can still play Ramp Scout, you can even play just straight Scout control with the Shout package. I've seen some people doing that, but I've been having a lot of fun with this version. It really is interesting because when people see Scout, they will mulligan in a way where they are trying to prepare for the Ramp Scout matchup or the Shout Scout matchup, and that sometimes works to your advantage because you're very clearly a more mid-range tempo-oriented deck with this list. So taking a look at what makes this list tick, it's very similar to other agility decks, right? You run the Curse package, as it's called. So that's Curse, Goblin Skulk, Murkwater Shaman, Shearpoint Dragon, Leaf Lurker, all the things that take advantage of those agility Curse cards that really generate tempo in your favor. And then to supplement that, you run some high-value endurance creatures. So these are things that you would normally see in like a sorcerer list. Windkeep Spellsword, Young Mammoth, Galen, Shadowfen Priest for the utility. Now, this deck does suffer from a lack of card draw. Eldergleam Matron does put a card back into our hand, so there is that, but for the most part, there's not anything that's just like refilling your hand with this. So the top end of the list is filled with creatures that create multiple bodies to hopefully offset the fact that we don't have a lot of card draw. Wild Beastcaller, for example, is a 3/4 for 6 that creates something else. Sometimes it's, you know, a prized chicken, sometimes it's a mud crab, but sometimes it's also like Moonlight Werebat or Sench Tiger, or I've had some pretty ridiculous mammoth rolls where you get the 5/7 mammoth, and if you've got some endurance creatures out, you also draw a card. That is just a phenomenal high roll when that happens. The point, though, is that the card is just meant to represent multiple bodies to hopefully make up for the fact that you just don't have a lot of card draw. This is for, you know, when your opponent hits you with a really harsh ice storm, you can follow up with a Wild Beastcaller, get a couple more bodies out, continue to pressure. Same idea with Bone Colossus. Bone Colossus is just a lot of stats. It's meant to help you kind of put the game away. It's meant to deal with the fact that you just don't have card draw. So again, if they hit you with a Dawn's Wrath or a pretty clutch Ice Storm, you can hopefully play Bone Colossus and then continue to pressure your opponent. Now, the deck does have some reach. You've got Cliff Racer, you've got Tazcad, so those can help out when trying to close out a game as well. And yeah, I mean, it plays like any standard tempo agility list. You want to get on the board, you want to try to keep your opponent's creatures off the board while snowballing your position and create this like sense of inevitability and keep them on their back foot. So as always, when I do these videos, I'm going to follow this up with a couple of games of me playing the deck so you can kind of see it in action. And thanks for watching. Until next time, may you walk on warm sands. Alright, so we are going second against Monk. And I think we mulligan these. Mammoth is fantastic. The Slayer goes back because we have another 3-drop in this as Prophecy. Shaman is a questionable keep because it's the kind of card that if left unanswered can just win you the game, but we don't have any 2-drops. So throwing it back just to try to give us that extra shot at a 2-drop. Oh ho ho, the top decks. So typically I like to start field lane and fight for it. The one exception is usually Skulks. I like to hide the Skulk just because then we can come over here and contest if necessary. So like if somebody answers here, then that still leaves the field lane open for me to go over there and contest.
Khajiit has had enough.
Alright, so that's a bit of a bummer just because we're going to have to use 2 curses on that, but... Did not mean to do that. Yeah, I mean, I think we just continue to tempo out, right? We're going to use both of our curses here. We're going to use our last recharge to go like that. And then that gives us a pretty solid board presence. We have the ability to get 1 more curse back if this survives. Oh, well done, sir. Well done. So that can, in fact, power our Leaf Lurker. Good news is both of these survive into this, so all he's really doing is stalling, but we want to play this before the trade.
Didn't see this coming, eh?
Now, at 5, he does have the option now for Leaf Lurker there.
This stay will be mine.
And if this does die, they're going to get the 2 on guard, so this goes field lane as well to trade in. But so far, so good. We're doing exactly what we want to do. Just kind of out-tempo our opponents. A couple of different ways that we could tackle this. I mean, face is the place, however, letting him get a Skulk active feels bad, so we're probably going to Curse Leaf Lurker that. And if that is indeed the case, then we need to deal with this. We could just do this, and then he'd get 1 and we'd get 1, and then we trade in. But I like saving the 4 damage. So instead, the likely course of action here, we're going to go ahead and do that. Just because we're going to do this. Steal a 2-1 from our opponent.
Didn't see this coming, eh?
They make it too easy.
It's entirely
Too late for you.
manageable. And then he gets a second one. Oh no. Alright. Interesting. You must still have an answer for this. I think we still keep the curse down.
The forest is my cloak.
So that's still probably our best course of action. This looks like it's a mid-range monk. Sheer point is good. Let's delete the Mournhold. So that explains why he did not use the javelin there. Alright, so Cliff Racer can give us a value trade there.
Do not take you.
Tempted to leave this here and actually just push the rest face. Because without a source of life gain, we would put him at 4, which is within striking distance. But if he has curses in hand, well, he might have used them last turn. If he has curses in hand, this thing could be problematic. This is an interesting spot to be in here. Could also save this for the burst on the following turn.
Found you.
Die, sweet. Just give me a name.
Here's a curse, but no sheer point value. So far, so good. Right. Javelin was problematic, to say the least.
Found you.
I think we just slow him up He's probably going to give us a card here. I doubt he just passes that. He's used 2 javelins, so the sheer point should be fine. I am wrong. But that is 3 javelins now, so we do not have to worry about that, though this is problematic. Alright, so the Beast Caller is good, but we have to deal with that. Dawnstar was unfortunate. The 3rd Javelin was not the sort of thing you expect this early, you know, for your opponent to just up and have all of them. I mean, I kind of don't want him to get rid of my other Cliff Racers because the reach is good, but saving the Shadow Fen for damage reduction also feels good. Though this is a better saturation. This is an interesting spot to be in. I think this is going face either way. So now it's just a question of what do we want to do over here. I think the best course of action is probably to eat this while we still can.
You must be cleansed.
Actually, yeah, no, that. Don't have to worry about runes anymore. He's gonna Black Dragon trade on the Cliff Racer, which is a little bit unfortunate, but he still has to deal with our right side of the board.
The forest is my cloak.
Leaf Lurker is good, but not good enough.
The victory is
And
yours.
that is a victory. Got a little bit hairy at the end. He tried stabilizing, but we got it. Alright, so we are going first against Sorcerer, which is interesting. It's interesting because we don't have as many comeback mechanics as they do in a matchup like this, so we're gonna have to kind of just rely on creature value to push our way through this match if we're gonna have any shot at all. Alright, doesn't even use the ring, huh? Well, we were gonna Dragon Tail here to potentially force the value trade, but we take the Skulk knowing that this probably eats a Firebolt or a negation here.
I smell the stench of the living.
Do your work.
Or a Barrow Stalker can ruin our party. Ruin our party. That is not fun, sir. Alright, so we're just gonna Mammoth and pass. We could attack into it, but he's gonna want to kill the Skulk, so
Wrong place for a midnight stroll.
that saves us a little bit of health. Doesn't do his job for him.
Do your work.
I think takes the
My Arcase beard. This day
negation
will be
there.
mine.
It's interesting.
The longer the odds, the sweeter the victory.
Was gonna be double Dragon Tail, but we'll take a Skulk. Wouldn't shock me if he daggers that Barrow Stalker.
Found you.
Oh.
Wrong place for a midnight stroll.
By the 8th, they will meet their makers.
Alright, so the Daggerfall's problematic.
You must be cleansed.
Too late for you.
We just wanted to kill that anyway.
Nicely done.
And even though he's just gonna nuke it with his Daggerfall, all we're doing right now is trying to fight for board. 'Tis the only thing that we can do at the moment.
Found you.
like I said, we don't have necessarily the comeback tools that a sorcerer has, so
Marquez beard. This day will be mine.
we are forced to kind of heavily rely on the things that we do.
Mother of mine.
Too late for you.
This is probably just all 2-drops, so that was a play mistake. Should not have taken the trade till after I played this. Yeah, I might end up just putting it here anyway. I need to contest this at some point. And the trader needs to go here to potentially fight with that. No, maybe not. Maybe trader goes here to fight with that. Dragon Tail goes there. Yeah, that was a potentially a play mistake.
The longer the
Of course, I'm on your side.
Alright, so we're slowly trying to get a little bit wide on him. Problem is that
Nicely done.
even though we're kind of draining him of cards, yep, the tome was still there. And we know one of those cards is a dagger still, so we do have that going for us.
Confound you!
I smell the stench of the living.
Alright, that's also problematic. Would have been much better if that was
Too
a
late
sheer
for
play
you.
for us. So like no good ways to really take this turn. Let's see if this gets us. Pack Wolf doesn't necessarily do a ton. We're gonna have to eat this here. Probably just Spirit. Because then everything, at least on the board, theoretically trades. We're still behind. Our opponent has the initiative, the opponent has the, like, card quality. Wow, even took away our value there. That was not very kind. And we're hitting the point now where, like, Encano is a problem.
Careful there, friend.
Probably working that out. We can still get that trade in though, so. I mean, we lose this.
Nicely done.
Alright. So we've kind of went blow for blow here. This is a bit of a knockdown, drag-out fight. It's going to largely depend on top decks for both players, I think.
Beard. This day will be
Really
mine.
good top deck for him. It's his third Wind Keep. He's already played 2 Barrow Stalkers, 2 Mystics. So he's got this interesting decision here because either has to give me a rune or just trade with the 1/1.
Your blood
And he chooses to not give me the rune. So he's up a card at the moment. We'll give him the rune. Kind of thought that was going to be safe, considering the number of prophecy cards that our opponent has already
Just
played.
give me a name.
But I was wrong. I mean, 1 Harpy, 2 Bolts, and 2 Mystics are gone.
Confound you!
So like a traditional sorcerer build should really only have a small handful left.
It's nothing personal.
Of course, I'm on your
Looks like
side.
we're gonna face race from the Shadow Lane here. Trying to close this out before they draw a top end, or hope that we draw a top end, because a Bone Colossus would be really hard to deal with right now for us.
Didn't see this coming, eh?
I think we just play this because we want
I will keep
the body. Like at this point, it would be astronomically low chances that we would draw anything from that Galen. So, oh nice, good play there, sir. Good play.
Repel the outlaws.
Unfortunately, we lose that because he finally played the dagger. We are, however, going to go ahead and play the shaman. Shaman is still enough to threaten lethal by itself, so we need some sort of removal or guard. Removal doesn't have to be in the form of an action either. It could be like a Shadowfen Priest. Interesting, they were running Reverberating Strike. Potentially
Found you.
problematic. We're also just dead to like Lightning Bolt. Oh, he's gonna take the shot
I see you're in need of my wisdom.
at charge.
Nicely done.
Good game.
It has been an engaging hunt.
Good game. That is a very rough back and forth. We were trying to fight from behind most of the game, but it can be done. You know, when you don't necessarily think that you're gonna win that mid-range fight, you can do it.